Hey, can you hear me now? I don't know. I think my spaces are
I,
kind of
I can,
riding me.
I'm really sorry. I can hear you. I was having issues.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
for some reason, like Twitter made me a co-host. Everything happened, but it wouldn't let me unmute my mic. So then when I went to leave, it wouldn't even let me leave the space. So I even restarted my entire phone, started all the way over. I came back, and it still said I was co-host already. So then I couldn't even request the co-host or any. It was literally some weird issues. But eventually, I just waited a second, and everything just kind of connected. So sorry about the delay. I've been really,
No,
really
don't worry
anticipating
about it.
today. So
Don't worry
I
about
went,
it. Don't worry.
yeah, once all this started happening, I was like, no, 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 this is an awesome project. I want to dive into it. So, oh, so anyways, without further ado, sorry about it, the little delay, and sorry community about the little delay. You know, everybody that X is going through a massive change and upgrade. So it seems like they're still having issues with certain phones. I actually had this issue last week during one of their platform upgrades. So and I expected it to happen again here and there, but it seems like they're starting to get the kinks out. So today, I got to say, welcome to the crypto miners community. Today we have the team from BloodLoop, a massive multiplayer online first-person shooter, which is built on the Avalanche blockchain, which I think is very interesting and is actually probably it kind of sets you apart from other things on that platform. So I think it's actually a pretty good ecosystem for you guys to be developing on. And I love to like deep dive into it. So let's start off by getting some introductions from you and maybe a little bit about the team, the core team that's behind building this. I would say unique project coming to the blockchain. I haven't seen anything even closely resembling the type of work that you guys have been doing. The graphics looks awesome. The gameplay looks awesome. The NFT artwork, everything looks pretty good. So just all in all, you guys have done a really good job setting your guys self. I'd say good footing into what could come into a really bullish, next probably year and a half as GameFi develops, blockchain develops, and then hopefully mass adoption comes in. So go ahead and talk a little bit about you and the core team.
Sure thing. First of all, thank you guys for having me up here, speaking from the BloodLoop account. I'm Pasquale, CEO and co-founder at 7 Digital Labs. 7DL is the gaming studio and software house building BloodLoop as a product. We have incorporated our company back in 2021, although legally we have been incorporated in Switzerland from 2022. We're currently a team of 25 individuals. Most of our members come from the traditional gaming world. I'd say 95% of them, excluding all the marketing departments, legal and similar, are coming from AA or AAA production studios with notable names like Play Games, sorry, I can't speak. Play Game, Ubisoft, CI Games, Gameloft, and similar companies. One no name that I always mention, and that's a funny story if you're a gamer, is our lead game designer, Julius. He's coming from Crytek, the company that made the Cry engine, the engine that was running Crysis 3, the heaviest game ever made in the story of video games. And he was one of the actual members working on that game and on that particular engine behind that. So we always get all those funny stories about that. And that's a very funny thing to mention. I always say that because it really shows how much we are deep down into the gaming culture with our team and how experienced and well connected our developers, artists, and game designers are in space. BloodLoop has been in production for the past 2 years. As I told you, we are about to reach a stage where the game is finally ready to go live. Particularly, the game is going live in a closed beta stage at the end of this year, in December. We are launching our first campaign for that kind of marketing in a couple of months from now. In a couple of weeks from now. And the game is going live in December in beta stage, and it's going to be out in early access on Epic Games Store and possibly on Steam by the end of February of 2024.
Very nice. No, and that's very impressive. Crytek, the engine, actually has made some very impressive games, especially in the first-person shooter area. So having someone from that industry coming in as a professional and working on the project, that's pretty impressive, man. And I like that. You know, it's pretty cool to see, I would say, opportunities from people from Web 2 to now finally come into Web 3 with like real projects. Like, you know, the GameFi project, I would say a year and a half ago, were so early that it was more just the trend that was carrying it on. But now it looks like industry professionals are really starting to take the blockchain serious and are coming over. So I will say right now, take the time, go to their website, check it out, join their socials. Right now they have their GemPad sale going on for 48 hours. I think it already started a few hours ago, probably what 20 hours ago, give or take. So take the time. If you're looking at this project, it's something that you might be interested in. That I think they're doing a lot of things different. They actually look like, when you look at the actual sneak peek of it, you can actually tell that they've done more to the gameplay style, thinking out how they can retain their user base and for long term versus just having a game out there that you're going to enjoy, but the blockchain is the main purpose. And I like that, setting up a proper ecosystem. So you lead into that. What are some of the key features and innovations that make BloodLoop stand out from other crypto games?
So before going deep into the actual gameplay and how the game works, I really want to touch down upon a point that you really stood out in your speech until now. Yes, we are trying to build something that really, differentiates itself from the other gaming product on this market. We are not building a game for the sake of building an economic model around it. Rather than that, we're building a game which basically works around the concept of using Web3 as as a feature rather than as a whole genre. So a lot of games are launching on the market leveraging Web3 as their only, go-to-market strategy, their only unique selling point, and the game will be good just because there's crypto inside of it and you can make money playing. Well, you can attract a particular user base with that, but you cannot expect to actually onboard the gamers and to onboard the community inside of your product by doing so. Rather than that, we believe that Web3 is a feature rather than a genre. So when you look at the game on Steam and in the Steam page, you can see the features of the game. You will see that the game, for example, has multiplayer, co-op, and similar. Web3 should be mentioned as a feature. It gives users some particular opportunities and tools, particularly around the chance of monetizing their time spent playing the game. And it really just improves and makes your experience better when you're playing a game. Of course, that's the case when the integration is done in a way that you don't actually feel blockchain behind it. And that's what we're trying to do with BloodLoop, and particularly with the Avalanche subnet that we built. Subnets are application-specific sidechains that allow us to basically build our own custom blockchain. We built into that custom blockchain a gas fee layer that allow us to remove completely the needs of paying for gas fees for the end user, making it so that the onboarding into the product is completely seamless and will never, get any slowdowns from the blockchain component of that. If you don't have any questions about this topic, I think the best next topic will be jumping into the gameplay and how the game works and plays, because I think people might want to know how BloodLoop is and what BloodLoop is.
100%. I just had one little comment on that. I just wanted to applaud you and the team for seeing the difference between understanding what the GameFi to blockchain relationship should be, right? Because it seems like about a year ago, and even up to some of the recent games, there's too much focus on the blockchain side of the infrastructure than the actual game over the years, right? And having a great game, you can't do it in 6 months. Like you're saying, you guys have been working on this game for many years now. It takes a long time to build a huge immersive ecosystem and then have to figure out how you're going to do the blockchain. It's not do the blockchain and then throw the game on top of it, because if you do that, your gameplay might not be a sustainable long-term thing. So I definitely like that, and I kind of understand where the team's coming from in that aspect, as in the blockchain should be hitting, it should be you should be immersed in the game and not even know it's in the background functioning to keep your assets and your money protected. And I like that approach. So I definitely appreciate that. And so yes, now we can move on to the innovations or the features or what type of thing that makes BloodLoop stand out to other MMOs or shooters pretty much on the market. And I already know, being the Web3 kind of stands out, but you're also trying to target mass adoption. So you're going to have to look at people that don't even care about the blockchain. So, having standout features that are comparative to real world games and extending those features and enhancing those features are kind of going to be a big advantage, I believe, for you guys.
Thank you very much. And yes, you really got the point there. So, driving deep into the functionalities of the game, BloodLoop, first of all, is a hero shooter game. So if you know what hero shooter games are, you should be definitely right away be getting an idea of what we're building. If you don't, let me give you an example. You might be familiar with games like Valorant or Overwatch. BloodLoop kind of places itself in the middle of those kind of titles and basically provides users with a game which is easy to onboard, provides a fun experience, and it's actually providing a learning curve which over time makes sure that it's just not a super casual gameplay, but rather makes you want to understand how heroes work and how shooting works so that you can leverage your experience better and leverage up your skill level. Generally speaking, when you start playing Bloodloop, you get to jump directly in the game's lobby. The lobby is not a menu but is rather a synchronous hub where you can meet all the players around the world, and moving around the lobby, you can perform basic actions like crafting and selling your items. I will get more into that in a second. When you're ready to play, you jump into the middle portal, which is basically at the center of the hub, and you get to select your game modes. You're finding three different game modes in front of yourself. The first one is the Energy War, our custom made, in house made game mode, which is basically a mixture of a capture the flag game mode and a plant the bomb style. So it's a very dynamic gameplay where you need to focus on the synergies. You don't want to leave your teammates behind for even a single second. And that's because when you play this game mode, you really need to focus on stealing the flag from the enemy team, capture it. In that case, it's an energy vest that you have to bring back to your base. When one of the heroes of your team is wearing that vest, he's slowed down but like 75% of his movement speed, which means that if it's not defended by the rest of his team, he's going to be taken down, and then you have to start back over again, and you have the chance of losing the actual match. Once you get to your base, you have to put down the energy vest and wait for that to sync up with your base and for the energy to be sprouted back into your base, and you have to defend that vest until the time is out. So of course you can see how it's a mixture of those two game modes. Heroes that I've mentioned multiple times are basically the vector that you will be using to play Bloodloop. Each and every hero has its own unique abilities and skills. You have three skills whilst playing a hero. Two of them are basic skills that needs low time to reload but has less effective effects. And then there's the ultimate, which of course takes longer to reload, but his effect is kind of groundbreaking and gives you an edge over the other users. All the abilities are balanced in a way that no one is stronger than the others, but rather we focus a lot on synergies. So you really need to understand what works best with what, and you really need to put your time and effort into the game to get better. And that really gives the gameplay a lot of depth and complexity, so that we can make sure to onboard the right Web2 gamers into our product. The other game modes are kind of simpler. You just get the team deathmatch, 5 versus 5. The first team to get to 40 kills wins. And then a free for all game mode where it's like 8 people in a lobby. You just fight all against each other. And at the end of the time, the one with the most skill is winning the game.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. So it's round based action, but then there's also an open lobby where you get to kind of have the MMO aspect or the role playing aspect of your character, and where you can meet, talk with people, your friends or other people you just even got out of a battle with that they might have owned you in a certain way, and you were like, hey man, that was a cool little technique you guys use, da da da, or vice versa, and I kind of like that. It gives two levels of it, right? So if you're tired of the action and you just want to socialize with some of your friends, you have that lobby. And then you also mentioned crafting. So obviously there's going to be abilities to possibly upgrade your weapons or gear or whatever as you level up and move up. So I like the different aspects that you're bringing to the game, and it's very unique. So that's just a little point I had to add there because I kind of like that there's not many round-based shooter style that have that little added feature that can make your character, the hero, even more unique. Because the problem with like a lot of these round-based shooters, like you were talking about Valorant or like CS:GO or those, is the character's just basic. So everybody's always on even ground. But if everybody has a chance to slowly upgrade in a different pathway, it adds like that different dynamic to the game, that like he could be he could be more of a tankier character or more of an agility character that allow him to be more fast and this and that. I don't know. It just opens my eyes to a lot of possibilities. So I love the development, how you guys have it much more open towards having a flourishing ecosystem, and it kind of shows the long-term longevity you guys have planned, right? So I definitely like that. Uh, so moving on to community, right? Everybody knows that community is kind of the number one uh, you know, I would say early factor linchpin to most projects. But as you being a GameFi, how do you guys plan on continuing to scale your user base? Because I know that most game developers, they're less on the amount of money they get from the investors, but the amount of investors they get in on a continuous base. Most games' life depend on retaining, right? So having a retainer user base coming back and utilizing, what kind of, I would say, features or games or type of campaigns do you have planned to kind of continually grow your community and keep the community that you have here for the long term? Because I know that this is an ever growing development.
Indeed. So first of all, I really want to make clear that the actual user onboarding and acquisition techniques are possibly one of our most and biggest goal that we are focusing on, because of course, we really want to make sure that the game is healthy with enough users to make the experience enjoyable, and at the same time to keep enough cash flowing into the ecosystem so that the token price stays up and the actual ecosystem is thriving with people willing to trade, so that everyone can enjoy the speculation and everyone can kind of do whatever he wants with his NFTs crafted and his skins and everything else into the ecosystem. That's why we really have our own plans kind of figured out from the beginning. Particularly once the game goes live, and we're going live on Epic Games Store and Steam, which means that we are launching on the biggest distribution platform known for video games, among all the other traditional video games, and not on just some sketchy launchers or directly from our website. We will be focusing a lot on paid advertisement and ambassadorships in order to get the true gamers inside of the product. Thanks to the fact that the onboarding is so easy, we don't really have to worry about, getting just the Web3 gamers, because otherwise people won't know how to create a wallet or download stuff. You just need to simply download the game from Epic Games Store, and you can use the EPS account to create an in-game wallet and connect directly to the game. And it's just a matter of a single click once you launch the game, which means that you will be never ever facing issues with onboarding. After that, so basically, given the fact that the game is so easy to onboard, paid advertisement will work like a charm. To just give you some statistics, the general cost for acquiring a user in this market right now for video games is moving around $2 to $5 per acquisition. With our marketing strategies, we have set for now a cost per acquisition of about $3.5 per user, and those users will be acquired through the traditional route of advertisement, and we're going to be planning to spend enough to onboard at least 50,000 to 100,000 users within the first 6 months of the game being live. Once we have acquired our first user base and we get the first users inside of the product playing and having fun, we're going to be launching our strongest program, which will be a referral system. Both creators and gamers will be able to launch a custom-made referral system for themselves, where inviting other users will provide them with small amount of rewards in game that can be used for crafting NFTs, investing, and in some cases even liquid tokens that they can sell or use inside of the game without any worries. This will kickstart the network effect of a refer a friend system to make sure that our game gets a constant influx of people inside of the product. The last thing I want to mention, going back to the influx of money into the ecosystem, is that thanks to our fiat on ramp and off ramps directly built into the product, people will be handling the token even if they know anything about crypto. So, when you just join a game, for example, let's use League of Legends as a placeholder here. When you want to buy a skin in League of Legends, you just go on the store, connect your credit card, buy Riot points, you go into the marketplace, and you buy yourself the skin that you really, really wanted to see during your matches. You can do exactly the same thing in BloodLoop. The only exception is that instead of buying league points, you're buying tokens with your credit card. So you're just buying tokens on the market. You're affecting the chart with those buys, but in reality, you are just getting a skin, and you just bypass the whole centralized exchange part, decentralized exchange part. So it's very easy for users to interact with the tokens, and they might not even know that they're doing that, just because they want to buy something from the marketplace and get those good skins into the game.
Bravo, man, bravo. You know what? you guys tapped on a little bit what I call my like side question, something I was thinking about, and I was going to ask if at the end of the time if we had time, but you kind of already touched on it, and that was the buying the skins or NFTs, right? That allow you to apply that look or the difference, that you saw that was really cool, and a lot of the onboarding issues right now has been what you guys have been doing, kind of leading the front, finding ways to I would say alleviate that pressure. But then after that's done, after someone gets in, there's still that confusion on how to get the tokens appropriately to utilize for the NFTs or the microtransactions that you have for your ecosystem. So having that seamless onboarding of your credit card in a safe manner, and it has to be a safe manner because, like you said, Epic and Steam, especially Steam, is an extremely impressive feat, because I know that it was about maybe last year that they banned all crypto game blockchain games because of financial issues and not being a registered companies for the most part. But it looks like you guys have done the regulatory oversight to make sure that you guys are compliant at all ways on the game side and financial side, so allow them to have security for their the real Web 2 investors coming in. And I like that, because coming onto the Steam and Epic, to that is almost like free marketing to a game that is going to tap into resources and user base that normally won't even see these games. We're pretty much hidden in the world, or if they do see them, they think it's a scam. So I definitely like that you guys have done the extra steps to make sure you guys have built the partnerships and the roadmap to go into I would say the real world, real life mainstream markets, because that's technically where your game's going to shine. Because regardless of it, there's going to be people that don't even care about the money at all. If you have a great game, they're just going to play the game, and that's what matters. If you build a great product, you brand the product appropriately, then they will come, right? So I definitely like you guys' approach. And you guys have really thoroughly thought out every little approach that would bring the regular user that had no idea about any of this, into it. And maybe that will encourage them to start researching a little bit more into it and hopefully extend the ecosystem overall, right? So I definitely like that's pretty cool. So um, I always have this little question with most blockchain games, and it's kind of sides into two things. Are you guys a Unity or Unreal built or Crytek engine built? Like, what is your main engine that builds the foundation of the gaming?
We are Unity, sorry, my bad. We are a Real Engine 5.3 based. I was thinking
Okay,
about Unity
that
Fox, and
that actually covered my next question. I don't even need to ask my second question. That's actually about security reasoning for the game.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Play like cheaters and stuff. But if you're using Unreal 5, I know they have a really good tool set, and the holes have been cleaned up really well, because I know I do a little research on my own on game engines. That was actually great. If it was Unity, I was going to say, what are you going to do to prevent all them script kiddies? And
no, no,
but
no.
you guys definitely already have everything. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I will tell you guys, Unity 5.3 that they're on, they're literally on the most updated graphics engine, ability engine, assets engine. You're literally going to have the best chance to have the best looking visuals, the best gameplay on pretty much any machine, because of the way that Unreal really has refined itself is to be able to be utilized at high performance on most computers, most gaming systems pretty efficiently. So I definitely appreciate the hard work you guys are doing. It's impressive. Hands down, probably one of the most impressive GameFi's out right now. If there's any even matching you guys. So I can't wait to see how the development goes and the release goes of everything. So what have been kind of the challenges that you guys have had, I'd say, over the last year or so in development?
I'd say the biggest challenge we had to face was actually I always mention two big challenges. The first one is how we had to prove ourselves to the markets. So although all of our team members are coming from an experienced standpoint in terms of game development, our company is new and we never had a track record in gaming in terms of startups. So we had to prove ourselves to the markets to make them understand that we could execute what we were trying to achieve, and that definitely took us some time, also in terms of funding, in terms of recognition. But I think we are in the right spot right now. And in terms of the other probably hard point right now will be the hiring. It's insane how hard it is to hire developers nowadays. Because of course everyone and their mothers are building games apparently. And it's been very hard for us to onboard the right individuals into our team to make sure that we had what we needed and that we had the right capacity to build the game that we were imagining. But right now, I'd say even in this field, we are standing in the right spot. But it definitely took some time, and it was a very big issue for us.
You know what? That is so funny, and I totally agree. Like I've been in the space working full time probably for about 3 years now, and at first it seemed like there was like a plethora of projects, and there was plenty of workers everywhere, and it was easy to fill. And then it seemed like as time went by and the market slowed down, developers got like locked up in big contracts, and like all the really good developers were just kind of focusing on small long-term builds that they weren't really working. They weren't really looking for other work right now. And I kind of noticed that because per se, I'm an advisor for projects also, and that's what I was kind of doing for a while, was meeting the right people. And even I noticed that. And even when you think you find the right people, because they say they could do a lot and they helped with a little bit, but then when you get down fundamentally, they're not the right fit for what your vision is. And sometimes it's hard because then you got to go back to the drawing board. So I definitely love the honesty there, because not a lot of companies will kind of think of their challenges as an issue when they go to speak about it. And then when you look at it, it's the challenges that make the project and company what it is that now, and even stronger now, because it's how you persisted through it and how you overcame that, and learned from it, understood from it, and then progressed and scaled from it, right? And obviously you found the right developers, the right artists, because everything looks really good. I mean, hands down, the website's very fluid. All the NFTs are really good, and the YouTube, like if you people go and check out the YouTube video, it's really nice, really well put together. It shows some really extensive gameplay, and like you're saying, having all of the infrastructure built, to where you're at now, proving that you guys are much more than just a vision, but an actual company, and that you guys are releasing a product that's going to be branded. It shows right here in just what you guys done. Like, I mean, literally, if any of our community members take the time, not even 5 minutes, jump in their socials, follow, read a little bit about what they're doing, you're going to be impressed, and you're going to deep dive into the information like I did, and actually understand that BloodLoop is setting itself apart from the standard, I would say, blockchain GameFi. And as we just talked about it and was able to showcase it, people should understand that just from the way you were explaining and answering questions. So what are the future plans? Maybe some new features that you guys are, been teasing, or you guys want to announce and haven't yet. You don't have to, obviously, if you guys aren't ready, because I always tell people, it's better to not promise anything and then come out with it unexpectedly, and surprise everybody. But I don't know if you guys have been talking about something in the sidelines, teasing it to your community, something that you can kind of tease our community and give us a little bit of understanding on what to expect over the next few months.
Indeed. So I don't really have features that I can come up and tell you, hey, look, we're doing that, we're doing this, just because the game is not live yet. So it's pretty hard to guide the game around that. What I can tell you in terms of also the community, we are definitely going to be dropping another NFT collection pretty soon, which is going to change the onboarding features to the game. So more people will be allowed to join the beta phase as it goes live in December. And of course, the sale going on right now is very important for the ecosystem as well. The token is the crucial part of the economy, and as I told you, is the biggest and most used single element inside of the whole game, thanks to the fact that it's all blended in well inside of the ecosystem. What I cannot kind of tell you in advance, again, it's not alpha about the actual feature of the game, because the game is not live yet and there's a lot of stuff coming up. But what I can tell you in terms of alpha for the token itself is that as the token goes live with the TGE, we are going to be listing on a lot of centralized exchanges. First up in the list is going to be Maxi, and then we're aiming for KuCoin and Bybit to be our next listing partners in order to get the right exposure for the trading environment and get all the liquidity that we need inside of the product, so that everyone can, afford to get into the token, gets enough liquidity to buy and sell, and enough volatility to appreciate the fact that the game goes live. As the game goes live in February, we're going to be doing other listing rounds and a lot of press and communication just to get the words out, also in Web3 world, and then it's full blown out Web2 campaigns to get all the users in. And bear with me, we're going to be announcing a lot of important partnership for the Web2 part. I'm talking about big, huge names in the esports sector and huge names in the onboarding sector to get the actual true gaming communities in the game.
That's exciting. And I like that you guys thought about the long term, uh, the launch strategy, right? Because when I say long term launch strategy, that literally means like a week or two to a month. Because in the weird strategy of token launches, that's about as long as the cadence works. If you can push through that first month and really show value, you're going to have a strong foundation and a really good floor to just continually develop on. And launching on, I suspect you're going to be launching on the decentralized exchange Trader Joe at first, right? Or would it be another one on
Yeah,
Avalanche?
sure. We're launching
Yeah,
first of all on Trader Joe with liquidity incentives as well, and then moving
good.
over to centralized exchanges.
Good, good. So yeah, so you hear that, guys. Now you have an option to still stay on the decentralized level. If you guys don't know what Trader Joe is, I really, really tell you and encourage you guys to go and check out Trader Joe and get ready for their listing. I did pin up at the top at the early of this space the direct link to their tweet about the gem pad sale. So go check it out. And all the information that we didn't cover or anything about the tokenomics or anything that you want to know, that deep dive into it, that you want to know more about other than joining the socials and asking, I would direct you there. That would be your earliest point, your entry point. And so I always implore people to always go check it out, because if you're encouraged about what you've heard here today, that this is going to be a great project, and it is a great project just from what I've seen, obviously coming in early is your best opportunity. So I definitely want to make sure I highlight that. It's at the top. Go check it out. Do your research. And I did, like I was saying, I definitely like how you're strategically going to the correct centralized exchanges. The three exchanges that if I was a CEO pushing the project, would be those listed. So that's really good, especially Bybit. It's really the kind of sleeping dragon, I'd say, of GameFi projects that they really can push a project liquidity and exposure really well and deep. So I can already tell you guys are setting your guys self into a good stance. And also those that don't like to utilize Avalanche per se, let's say they don't have stuff on Avalanche, this also gives you opportunity to get in with the project, utilize the project, and connect into their ecosystem by buying off of the centralized exchange. So it gives you kind of that opportunity to go from there and have your first level exposure into Avalanche. So I like how you position yourself. It really opens it up to the global level of traders, rather than just having to limit yourself just on the Avalanche, within your first launch period. So I definitely like that. Did you have maybe some last maybe call to action or something you would like to tell us that we might have missed, or something to touch on before we go on to some questions by the community members?
Definitely. So, in terms of closing remarks, before any question you might want to move forward, so any call to action right now, first of all, will be, guys, follow us on Twitter. What you're doing? You're still waiting. You're definitely not going to make it in the crypto world. No, okay, I'm joking. But you should definitely be following us on Twitter right now. We do post a lot of stuff about the game on here. Most of the times, my cat is meowing. Okay. Most of the times, we're posting information about the game, images from the game, development updates, dev updates. So you really do get all the sweet alpha from the game and how the development is coming along. Additionally, I invite you guys to join our Discord and Telegram communities and to check out the Gempad sale. It's a great opportunity to get inside of the ecosystem early. We're talking about a difference from the launch price of over 40%. You get in early, you get the chance of being able to be part of this awesome game that is coming up, and to get your financial exposure before the others. So basically, you're getting and joining very very early into what we have been building so far. I'm happy and ready to go towards the community questions so that we can get all of their doubts and concerns and curiosity ironed out.
All right, so I'll just pick a couple from the chat, and I'll probably pick a random one or two comments, questions that are in the comments. Let's see. I like this name right here. Let's go T-Bard X. Let's see if Twitter's gonna give me. There it goes. I just now approved you, Bard. I think. I mean, there it goes. That's funny. All right, go ahead. You can speak whenever you're ready, buddy.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah.
Well, what's your question whenever you're ready,
All
buddy?
right. Yeah. So my question to BloodLoop is: will there be any kind of in-game communication between the players, and also do you consider other players who don't understand English in your project?
There will be definitely in-game communications in terms of being able to chat with your friends. So we have different ways for you to chat with your other friends whilst you're playing. The first one will be the traditional voice chat and then a text chat. But if you can't write and you can't speak because you're playing and you don't want to speak, then you get the pings. So you can communicate with your team members using pings to notify information on the map and behind and around you, so that your friends can and your teammates knows what you're doing, where you're positioned, and how they could possibly help you within your in-game operations. In terms of the non-English speakers, the game will be initially localized in English, but will be then localized in the major countries that we see adoption of the game from, so that we can slowly roll back and onboard and satisfy all the communities onboarding our product.
All right, that's cool. So, can I also refer my friends to play the games with me, maybe with the UID or wallet address?
Yes, sure. There will be a refer a friend solution for you to invite your friends. You don't need to use your wallet, you don't need to use anything. You just give them a username, your link, they will be able to register and join the game. It's very, very simple and it doesn't really involve Web3, although you will be rewarded with Web3 based rewards.
All right, that's cool. Thanks for the great answers. Good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
for your great question, man.
Yeah, Bard, man, that was a really good question. Really eloquent, really well put together, man. I liked it. I liked it a lot. That's pretty good. All right, let's get another one up here. It's good when I got that. When the community really, really has good questions, you could just tell they're interested in the game. I love that. It makes me feel good that we did a good job showcasing the game. Because that's what it's about. Our community enjoying it. So I'm gonna go ahead and prove John Mary. Let's get you up there. Let's see if they'll work for me. There it goes. Go ahead with your question whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to ask my question. My question is, every good project has an interesting story behind it. So I wanted to know what motivated you to actually build this Imagine project.
First of all, thank you very much for these kind words. Well, the motivation was pretty strong. We have been all gamers for the past, for all of our lives. Many of us in the core team started playing games before started even walking or talking, and we really felt the need for such a product on the market, for such a way for us to kind of bridge together the two worlds and make sure that there were opportunities for users to whatever they actually wanted with their assets and with their money that they're putting inside of a product. Because in reality, if you go and look at other products, a lot of them are just allowing you to buy, but they're forcing you to just stay in the ecosystem. You cannot sell, you cannot move around, and there's no way for you to give value to all the time that you spend playing. But in reality, what is that video game without your time? What is that game without all of your contribution, without all of your hours spent and sweating inside of that game to make it and to scale the real boards and whatsoever? And Web3 gives you the chance to really appreciate this particular part of your user base, and we felt like making it into a product was the best thing we could achieve on the market.
Wow, great. Thank you very much for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, for your question, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that was really good. See, I love this right here. I'm getting great questions and you're giving awesome answers, so everybody's enjoying their time, right? All right, let's see. Let's get our third one up here. I'm going to pick, let's try Anthony Soft. Let me see if it'll work. I got to press it like 3 or 4 times, so it takes about a second before it actually registers. Or not at all. There it goes. Anthony, clear up your mic.
All right,
It's a
all
real
right, all
fuzzy.
right.
I can't
Thanks.
hear nothing. All you hear.
Hello, yeah, thanks. So my question is, I like this project. So I'd like to know if, hello, can you hear me? I'd like to know if this project, I'd like to know if this project will be available. Maybe you'll be integrating this project. Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry, man. Your
you
rag is a
speak for
bit.
like half a sentence and then you just cut out. We can't understand what you're saying. Either your internet connection's bad or you need to get off speakerphone.
Yeah. With,
No, man, I can't hear you.
hello. Okay. I'd like to know if you've been integrating this game with traditional playing.
I just had to remove him from speaking. It
Yeah.
was just so bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. Maybe wait, if you fix your phone, fix whatever kind of system you got going on there, we'll be able to bring you up next time. I'll pick someone else real quick. Let's try Leah right here, or Laya. Herman 55. Let's hope this thing connects through. There it goes. Go ahead with your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay. My question is, how does the BloodLoop plan to achieve adoption and gain user or customer?
So if your question is about user onboarding and user
Yeah.
acquisition, it's it's pretty straightforward. We want to onboard the actual gamers. So we will be targeting the same advertisement routes. My cat is meowing once again. Oh, you will have to hear my cat in the background. Sorry about that. So what we want to do is just target the same advertisement and onboarding routes that traditional games will leverage. Basically, paid advertisement, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, ambassadors that will be streaming the game every week and posting content about the product, and explore features on social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. That will be our biggest catalyst to onboard users inside of the game, because given the product looks so good and it plays so good, what we really need to do is just to show it to people. We don't need to sell it, we need to show it, because just the product itself will kind of sell itself on its own, but we just need to get the audience to see what we built so far, and they will be coming to the product. And that we know, coming from our experience in the Web2 world, in marketing, and in gaming.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good question. Really appreciate the answer. I actually was scrolling through the comments and I actually found some really good questions. And one's from Jesse, or username J101. Said the major issues with Web3 gaming appears to be unsustainable in-game economy model and the ability to keep gamers interested to play over long term. How do you suggest that these issues should be handled to attract the gamers for a longer period of time, and how you plan on to keep it, sustainable?
I'm sorry, my connection wrapped me for the last 5 seconds on your question. So if you could repeat that, it will be very helpful.
Yes. So this is from Jesse. The major issue with Web3 gaming, and this is in the comments, appears to be unsustainable in-game economy model and ability to keep gamers interested in playing over a long period of time. How do you suggest to handle that?
So the issue is very well related to the fact that many Web3 games have no actual gameplay, and if you move it over to the Web2 wider audience, a game is successful and people are playing it as long as you just keep the content flowing. So you should not expect your game to keep on being played from everyone. If you just release a game and pretend that they will have to play it like it is, you have to adapt to community needs, keep on posting content, keep on updating the game modes. So you have to make the game look interesting and play interesting, and that's what we're going to be doing to make sure that the user base is always engaged. Random and new game modes to make sure that the gameplay doesn't feel always the same. New content release, new heroes, new maps, events, tournaments, and stuff like that will keep people always engaged with what we're building.
And I totally agree with that answer. That's a really good answer, because that's pretty much the same model that has helped other games that aren't in the Web3, that aren't earning you money, that doesn't have the digital assets that you earn and trade, live for 5, 10, 15 years. Some of the best shooter games out there are losing out on the community's needs, I would say, to be able to have a sustainable ecosystem to where the time you spend in a game earns you money that you can utilize to then spend in the game instead of your hard-earned money in the real world. And so I think that, the way you guys have positioned yourself, and answering the question you did kind of sets the tone that you guys have thoroughly looked at already. Like, what would it say? If it ain't broke, don't fix. Right? There's no reason to fix the model if it's been working for many years, but all you're doing now is just enhancing the model. You're taking already a great model of how games have been doing a really good job, but asking or adding the monetization to it to incentivize long-term sustainable growth, because the economy is giving you a percentage money back because you earned it, right? You're helping the company grow. You might as well, have your community feel like they earned it. So I love the aspect. And that kind of leads me on to my other question, because this, or not my question, sorry, this is actually B's question, Wolf Angel. It's actually their question, but it was actually one of my questions that I forgot to ask that was in the top of my head. But it's actually about what devices and or PC specs are going to be implemented that either going to limit or enhance your scalability, and do you plan on having a mobile version of the game to continually attract a bigger audience?
So the minimum specifications are not well set in stone right now, just because I don't really have them on my hands. Team is working on optimization quite a bit, and we do have an optimization engineer in the team that just does his work around this to make sure that the game can run smooth on as many devices as possible. That's in our best interest, because of course, if the game runs smooth on even older devices, you open up the user pool to more players that can download and enjoy the game. We will be definitely, what I can tell you in this regard before moving to mobile is that the game runs smooth on my old computer, and my desktop has a GTX 960 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM and 8 gigabytes of RAM and a very old CPU. So it runs on this mammoth. I think it can run on other computers as well. And in terms of mobile, yes, porting on mobile will be our first priority once we get sorted with the game release and the content release plans. Releasing the game on mobile will be part of our wider user acquisition scheme, although the porting will be done possibly in the sense of couple of quarters after the release of the game on PC, because we really want to figure out a solid gameplay and a solid user base before moving on to mobile as well. And then at that point, once we're on mobile as well, the amount of advertisement that's going to be coming out will be insane, because the user base on mobile is very big, and you just need to show them the product.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And not to name drop, but that's what PlayerUnknown Battleground did, right? They refined their PC. They constantly developed it. They focused on one major platform, and then it was the trickle down effect, right? Then PUBG Mobile got released, the consoles all got released, and they had to then continue optimization. But there was no sense in to spread yourself super thin and then having to focus on all these different areas and then fall behind. So I definitely love transparency and honest, well thought out answers. Guys, I hope you guys took this interview or showcase, whatever you want to call it, this AMA, Ask Me Anything here. I really hope you took this and understood the value proposition that's not coming just from the product, not just from the branding, not just from the game, but the actual team that's behind it. Right? Because this game would not be set to where it's at now without some transparent, really thought after plan. And if you look and you take the time, I'm going to tell you, you can't look at their entire ecosystem in 5 minutes. You can join their socials, but if you actually spend about 30 minutes to an hour reading about their information, their docs, and really deep diving, you'll see that the team really has thought a lot about sustainability and profitability for the long-term scalability. And how that works is in turn by having a great team in the background implementing and pushing for the long term. And I have really good hopes for it. I think they're going to do really well. Being on GemPad was a really great, smart business plan too, because I believe GemPad's a lot more reputable than the other place. So I definitely kudos to you guys for going there. That just shows the professionalism. So take the time. It's pinned up at the top of our Twitter space. Here is the GemPad link and information there. Just go check it out. Join their socials. Ask questions if you didn't get the answer here. But I bet if you read the information on their website and their docs on their website on their project, you're going to get all your answered for you, because it's all right there and it's laid out very thoroughly. I do appreciate your time. Is there any last minute call to action before I do the closing statements and we close this out today?
Thank you very much for this awesome recap that you made. Yeah, just for last minute call to action will be again, guys, join us on Twitter, join us on Discord, join us on Telegram, and make sure to check out the Gempad sale because it's a one in a lifetime opportunity to get into our ecosystem. Things are going to be moving fast, although it's a marathon rather than a sprint, but you want to definitely check it out. Thank you very much for this space. It's been a pleasure being up here. You are a great host, and your community is amazing. I hope to see you all guys in our Discord and in our Telegram.
Yes, I definitely encourage everybody at least jump in there, join their socials, be a part, listen up. Even if you're not an early investor, later on as the gameplay comes, you're going to get the FOMO and you're going to want to jump in, and then you're going to kick yourself in the butt for being late. So thank you again, BloodLoop founder and team, everybody that did come from their community, everybody from our community today for sharing the project to us and to the community. We're excited to see what the future holds for BloodLoop, and we wish you the best in development journey because I know that that's huge. So like I say, please join their socials, keep in touch, keep up to date with the team's announcements. I already know it's going to be huge, and I can't wait for you guys to have a launch, have a great run there, and then you guys come back and share the thoughts and excitements and everything here, because we definitely like to have long-term support with base teams and base backgrounds on projects, and would love to have an update later on. So it was a pleasure showcasing you, and until next time, thank you for coming to the Crypto Miners.